stimulus response model is how the body maintains homeostasis. And it has the stimulus, the receptor, the modulator,
And the effector.
the effector,
And the response.
and the response. Okay? The stimulus is the change in the environment.
Needs to be able to be detected and responded to.
The change in the environment. Now, it needs to be a change that you can detect. Any change that you can't detect isn't a stimulus.
What would that be, like pollution?
Yeah, anything that's not going to have an influence in your body is not a stimulus. The receptor is a modified dendrite. Modified dendrite. That's of a nerve.
That can detect change.
That takes the stimulus. And it's a sensory neuron, a sensory nerve. Okay? The modulator decides the appropriate response depending upon the nature and the strength of the stimulus. Okay. The effector is the part of the body that brings about the response. This is the big thing that students make a big mistake on. They don't identify what is doing the action that is going to bring about the response. For instance, if you are going to sweat, sweating is a response. So I've got
The action is.
the thing that does the sweating is the effector. So the effector here is sweat glands.
Yeah.
It's a big mistake that students always make. They get too excited in their answer. They want to jump straight to what is happening. And they leave out the effectors and they lose easy marks. If you want to talk about, students love to use the word vasodilation, but they don't mention what is partaking in the vasodilation. So they miss out on blood vessels.
Yeah, they got to the sweat glands and cold evaporated.
Okay.
The skeletal muscle was the hair.
You need to be meticulous with your
Really
answer.
nothing.
Slow
Sure.
yourself down. Make sure you plan your answers. By taking that 30 seconds to plan your answer, slowing yourself down, you can incorporate a lot more detail that will get you a lot more marks rather than just jumping straight into the deep end and want to say exactly what you want to say. Plan it out so you don't miss easy stuff. Right? Then the response is the change. Response is the change in the body. Right? And then if it opposes the original stimulus, well done. But then after saying, if the response does oppose you've got to say what the response is. Then you can say this is opposing the original stimulus. And once you've said that, then you can do this. This matters. Right? Then you can go here. You can draw an arrow up here back to the stimulus, and you put a negative symbol. And we say that's negative feedback. Some students will say it opposes the original stimulus. Great. They might say that that is negative feedback, but you need to show the examiner you know what it means. So the original stimulus now has been opposed, and that is negative feedback. You need to make sure you show that understanding.
So you should draw that in like that.
I would draw it in.
Really? Okay.
Well, I would make sure the examiner knew that you know what negative feedback is, rather than just saying it opposes the original stimulus and therefore negative feedback. Leave enough room to draw that arrow back and put a negative symbol next to it, and right along the side of it, negative feedback. Okay? So